We're taking an early lunch break. The next job site is about a 30-minute drive from here. As soon as you finish lunch, head to the next site, said the foreman, Tom. Just as Tom finished speaking, my phone rang. The hospital's name was displayed on the screen. Hello, this is Jake. Are you a family member of Holly Woods? She has just passed away. Could you come to the hospital immediately? The call was to inform me of my grandmother's passing. Okay, I'll get there as soon as I can. After hanging up, I was standing in shock when my group leader, Alex, approached me. Jake, what's wrong? Did something happen? My grandmother. She just passed away. I got a call from the hospital. That's terrible. You need to talk to Tom and get to the hospital right away. Okay. That snapped me back to reality. I need to be strong. I'm all she has. I ran to Tom to explain the situation. I'm Jake. I've been living with my grandmother since I can remember. My mother passed away shortly after I was born, and a month later, my father left me with my maternal grandmother and disappeared. So, for me, an only child, she was my only family. 2 years ago, my grandmother had a heart attack and was hospitalized, but fortunately, she survived. However, her heart was very weak, and a month ago, she was hospitalized again with heart failure symptoms. I used to stop by the hospital every day after work, talk with her for a bit, and then go home. That was my daily routine. I thought she'd be fine if she just rested in the hospital. I never expected her to pass away so soon. Tom, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just got a call from the hospital. My grandmother, who was hospitalized, has passed away. May I leave early today? Also, I think I'll need to take bereavement leave for about a week starting tomorrow. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I tried to speak as politely as possible, so as not to upset my boss, who's known to be grumpy. Jake, we've got a big job this afternoon. You're leaving early now. Don't joke around. Your parents should handle your grandma's matters. Startled by Tom's sudden yelling, I explained that I had no parents or siblings. But Tom's shouting only escalated. Listen, Jake, you have 5 certifications. The afternoon job site requires your qualifications to work. If you want to leave early, find someone with the same certifications to replace you. What? That's unreasonable. In our company, there are only a handful of field workers who hold more than 5 certifications. Moreover, these field workers are divided into 4 groups to carry out their jobs. It was absolutely impossible to get someone from another group to replace me. Also, our company doesn't have bereavement leave. If you're absent tomorrow, it's a no-show. I've said it before, but find someone with the same qualifications to cover for you. I was hoping for bereavement leave, but nervously relayed the information to my supervisor. I don't mind being marked as absent, but it's impossible to find someone with the same certifications as me right away. I really need to leave soon. Is that okay? What? Don't mess with me. This is why we can't rely on people from Smith Construction. Then, Alex, standing next to me, said something. I'll take over. I have 7 certifications, more than Jake, so no complaints, right? I'll work from this afternoon for a week, said Alex. What? No, Alex, you've just finished 3 consecutive night shifts, right? And if I remember correctly, you were supposed to take a week off for summer vacation starting tomorrow. It doesn't feel right to ask you to do this. Our work is almost year-round. We take turns taking breaks during Christmas and summer vacations, shifting days. Alex glared at Tom, then he said, do as you like, Miss Smith Construction. Just don't end up overworking yourself and complaining about it later. Tom said it in a mocking tone. She quickly responded, don't worry about it. Then, Alex patted me on the shoulder and said, Jake, you better go quickly. Alex, thank you so much. I'll contact you once things settle down. I thanked to her and ran towards the station. Alex and I originally worked for a company called Smith Construction. Though in construction, We didn't work on high-rise apartments or commercial buildings like major contractors, but rather on inspecting and maintaining underground gas pipes and connecting new pipes when switching from propane to city gas. Some call this kind of work 3Ds, but I love the president, my colleagues, and plan to stay until retirement. I started working at Smith Construction as a part-timer in high school and joined full-time after graduating. Alex Smith, the daughter of the company president, was my colleague who joined after graduating from college. It's tough to study for certification exams while working, but get whatever you can in your 20s, Alex advised, helping me study and earn 5 certifications. Alex, with a college degree, went on to acquire 2 more, becoming the employee with the most certifications. But now, Alex and I work for a company called Brown Construction. There's a reason for that. It dates back to 6 months ago. Can everyone gather around? The president of the company, Chris Smith, usually sitting near the office window, stood in front of the whiteboard and called everyone. What's going on? Chris, usually cheerful, seemed a bit tense. As I wondered, I lined up with the others in front of him. Well, this is difficult to say. Our Smith Construction will be merged into Brown Construction, he announced. What? The office went silent for a moment, then buzzed with whispers. Kendrick, our supervisor, approached Chris anxiously. Chris, what does this merger mean? We haven't heard anything about this. When was this decided? Actually, Johnson Materials said they would no longer do business with us. Our parts and materials are quite specialized, so losing Johnson Materials means we can't work once our current materials run out. That's terrible. Why did it come to this? Chris looked down, regretfully, amid the murmurs. Does this mean that Brown Construction, the company we're merging with, will be able to continue trading with Johnson Materials as usual? Kendrick asked. To this, Chris replied shortly, yes, that's what it means. At that moment, a knock on the office door was heard, and a man entered. Hey, everyone's here. Good timing. I have something to discuss about the merger. May I have your attention for now? Who's this man? We all looked puzzled at the unfamiliar man who had just walked in. Oh, Paul, I haven't even told them half of it yet. Could you give us a moment? The man, called Paul, interrupted Chris's attempt to explain. There's no need to trouble Mr. Smith any further. I'll make this brief. My apologies for the late introduction. I am Paul from the HR department of Brown Construction. Some of you will be working with us starting next month, so please consider this a formal introduction. Wait, what? Only some of us? Wasn't the entire Chris Construction supposed to be merged into Brown Construction? Paul continued. Alex, Jake, and 3 others, making a total of 5, will be working with us from next month. Please accept these documents. Then Alex, with a stern face, asked, What do you mean by 5 people? What about the rest of us? Our company policy dictated not employing anyone over 50 or those who don't have at least 3 certifications. Paul nonchalantly explained, prompting murmurs of discontent from around the room. Springing this on us all of a sudden, what are we supposed to do starting next month? There are no jobs out there for someone over 50. Isn't this too cold-hearted? Hearing this, Paul's expression turned sour as he retorted, Your job is a test of physical strength. It's clear that field workers over 50 become a liability with their complaints of back pain and failing certification renewal exams, and those without at least 3 certifications. That's simply out of the question. The company is investing money, and what good are workers who can't even properly study to earn vital certifications? It's obvious they are of no use. He said this in a rather sarcastic tone. Despite pleas from Alex and Chris for all employees to be retained, Paul remained firm, stating, It's a decision made internally, and his stance did not change. Then, Paul, who had appeared suddenly, said his piece and left. Afterward, Chris repeatedly apologized to us. Honestly, I thought Alex, whose father was the president of Smith Construction, wouldn't join Brown Construction, the company that had taken over her family's business. To her, it must have felt like her cherished company, which she had planned to inherit, was stolen. Contrary to expectations, Alex said, "I have a little plan," and joined us in moving to Brown Construction. That's how we came to be here. 6 months had passed since then, and Alex was still working at the merged company. Thanks to her, I was able to serve as the chief mourner at my grandmother's funeral. Returning to work after 5 days of bereavement leave, I noticed several papers pinned to the office bulletin board. To my astonishment, they were shocking official notices. Listed were the names of Paul, the HR manager, and David, the current president who took over from his predecessor a year ago. What? Dismissal for disciplinary reasons. Tom is being demoted to the materials warehouse. There were notices of 5 dismissals and demotions. What on earth happened? What could have possibly occurred during the mere 5 days I was on bereavement leave? "Good morning, Jake." Stunned in front of the bulletin board, I was startled by a voice from behind. "Alex, and Chris, and next to you is..." Next to Chris stood the former president of Brown Construction, Michael Brown. "Come join us in the office, Jake." Prompted by Alex, I joined her in entering the president's office. "Mr. Brown has returned to his position since yesterday. Starting today, my father is the vice president, and I'm the HR manager. However, I prefer field work, so I'll go back to it once I find someone capable of handling the desk job," Alex explained. She had recorded on her phone various incidents, including Paul's first visit to Smith Construction and my conversation with Tom during my bereavement leave. Additionally, she obtained testimony from the manager of Johnson Materials Product Management Department, who had been pressured by David to stop dealing with Smith Construction. Alex presented these pieces of evidence to Mr. Brown, the former president of Brown Construction, and submitted them to the Labor Bureau. An investigation by a specialized agency revealed that David, Paul, and 3 other managers and division chiefs were involved in bribery with business partners. Mr. Brown held an emergency shareholders meeting and decided to dismiss the 5 involved in the bribery, reinstating himself as president. "Mr. Brown, was it okay to dismiss your own son? I always taught David that in a job like ours, corruption is absolutely unacceptable. As a company involved in public construction projects, we must never engage in any dishonest practices. Furthermore, taking over a company that's been a long-time friend is utterly reprehensible," he said with a firm stance. It appears Tom wasn't involved in the bribery issue, but his refusal to change his condescending attitude and behavior towards subordinates and juniors, insisting that his way was the only right way, led to his demotion to the materials warehouse. The company moving forward cannot tolerate forcing others to comply through intimidation or sacrificing family and personal life. If we do that, we'll quickly lose talented people. That's why, Jake, starting today, you'll be the new team leader. Do your best," Alex said with a smile, leaving me almost jumping in surprise. It was surprising to be promoted to team leader by Alex, especially since I only had a high school diploma and less than 10 years of service, but there was no time to be astonished. I love this job. I plan to acquire 2 more certifications, work harder than anyone in the group, and live up to the expectations of Mr. Brown and Alex. Thinking about it makes me even more determined. All right, let's do this. And with that resolve, I headed to the job site for another day.